The autumn rain pattered against my car window as I pulled into my parents' driveway for our monthly family dinner. These dinners had become a ritual of humiliation over the past 5 years. Ever since I'd walked away from the proper career path my family had planned for me. I checked my reflection in the rearview mirror, adjusting my simple pearl earrings, a gift from my grandmother before she passed. At 36, I looked nothing like the corporate success story my sister Jessica embodied. No designer suits, no elaborate hairstyle, just clean professionalism and quiet confidence. The porch light flickered on automatically as I approached the door, probably triggered by one of the many smart home features Jessica had insisted on installing for our parents. Another display of her supposed success. "Oh, Emma's here," my mother's voice carried through the door before I could knock. The slight disappointment in her tone was familiar. I was always Emma. Never my successful daughter or my accomplished child. Those titles were reserved for Jessica. The door opened to reveal my sister in all her glory. Channel suit, perfectly styled hair. That practiced look of condescending concern she'd perfected since childhood. "Emma, you're actually on time for once," she smirked, air-kissing my cheek. "And in the rain, too. Still haven't replaced that old Honda." I smiled, hanging my coat in the foyer. "It gets me where I need to go." "I'm sure it does," she said with false sweetness. "Unlike my new Mercedes. Have you seen it? Company car, of course. One of the perks of being senior VP at Atlas Corp." Ah, there it was. The first brag of the evening, right on schedule. The dining room was warm and bright, set with Mom's best china. Another tradition meant to highlight the contrast between Jessica's achievements and my supposed failures. Dad sat at the head of the table, already nursing his usual scotch, while Mom fussed over the place settings. "Emma, dear," Mom called out, "we put you next to Aunt Sarah. I thought you two could discuss things." By things, she meant Aunt Sarah's recent divorce and subsequent career struggles. The failure corner, where they seated anyone who didn't meet their standards of success. "Actually," I said quietly, "I'll sit here." I pulled out a chair at the main part of the table, directly across from Jessica. My mother's eyebrows shot up, but she said nothing. "So," Jessica began as the first course was served. "I was just telling Mom and Dad about my promotion. Senior Vice President of Operations at Atlas Corp, youngest in company history." "That's wonderful," I murmured, taking a sip of water. "Of course, it's not just the title," she continued, warming to her favorite subject, herself. "I'm overseeing the merger with Thompson Industries, leading the restructuring team, basically running the whole show while they search for a new CEO. Dad beamed with pride. "That's my girl. Always knew you'd make it big. Unlike some people," Jessica added, shooting me a pointed look. "Still doing that consulting thing, Emma? Or have you finally realized it's time to get a real job?" Mom jumped in, ever the peacekeeper. "Now, Jessica, I'm sure Emma is doing her best." "Oh, I am," I said, my voice steady. "How's the Thompson merger going? I heard there were some complications." Jessica's smile faltered slightly. "Nothing I can't handle. We're announcing the final details next week. The board's very impressed with my leadership." "Interesting," I said, cutting my salmon into perfect squares. "And the tech integration? All sorted?" "Of course," she said quickly. Too quickly. "Everything's proceeding exactly as planned." I nodded, saying nothing. The silence stretched uncomfortably until Mom jumped in with her usual nervous chatter about the neighbor's new landscaping. Actually, Jessica announced, clearly eager to reclaim the spotlight, I should tell you all my big news. The board called me in today for a special meeting. Here it comes. They're expanding my role. She practically glowed. Starting next month, I'll be overseeing all operational integration for both companies. It's practically a CEO-level position. Practically, I echoed. My sister's a nobody, Jessica bragged, turning to our parents. Well, I just got promoted at Atlas Corp. Can you believe it? 2 companies under my control. I set down my fork carefully, dabbed my lips with a napkin and smiled. Congratulations, Jessica. I'm the new CEO there. The silence was absolute. Jessica's wine glass stopped halfway to her mouth. Dad's fork clattered against his plate. Mom's nervous chatter died mid-sentence. What? Jessica whispered. Atlas Corp, I repeated calmly. The board appointed me CEO this morning. I start Monday. That's impossible, Jessica sputtered. I would have known. I'm senior VP. I'm in all the major meetings. The ones you're invited to, yes. I pulled out my phone and pulled up an email. Would you like to see the announcement? It goes out tomorrow morning. But as my direct report, I thought you should hear it from me first. Direct report? The color drained from Jessica's face as the implications sank in. Oh, and about the Thompson merger? I continued, my voice still pleasant. We should discuss those complications you mentioned, particularly the $300 million in undisclosed tech debt you seem to have missed in your due diligence. Dad's scotch glass hit the table hard. Emma, what exactly are you saying? I stood slowly, smoothing my simple black dress. I'm saying that tomorrow morning, Atlas Corp will announce its new CEO. The same person who's been quietly consulting for them for the past 5 years, restructuring their tech division and preparing for this exact moment. I turned to Jessica, the same nobody's sister who's been watching you take credit for other people's work, manipulate reports, and nearly derail a billion-dollar merger. You can't, Jessica started. I can. I cut her off. And I will. Board meeting, Monday morning, 9 a.m. sharp. Don't be late. I picked up my purse and turned to our parents. Dinner was lovely, as always. Though next time, perhaps we could all sit at the main table. The walk to my Honda had never felt so satisfying. Behind me, through the dining room windows, I could hear Jessica's voice rising in panic, Mom's attempts at soothing, Dad's confused questions. But I wasn't done yet. Monday morning would bring more surprises, and Jessica's perfect world was about to shatter completely. The Atlas Corp headquarters gleamed in the early morning sunlight, its 60 floors of glass and steel reaching into the clear blue sky. I pulled my Honda into the CEO parking spot, right next to Jessica's Mercedes, and smiled at the security guard's double take. Morning, Frank, I said, showing my new badge. How's Sarah doing in college? He beamed. Great, Ms. Thompson. That scholarship program you recommended, it changed her life. Inside, the lobby was buzzing with unusual energy. News of the CEO announcement had leaked, though not the specifics. Employees huddled in small groups, whispering theories and speculation. I caught fragments as I walked past. Heard it's someone internal. Jessica Thompson for sure. She's been telling everyone. Maybe that consultant who fixed the tech division. The executive floor was eerily quiet when I stepped off the elevator. Jessica's assistant, Madison, sat at her desk looking shell-shocked. She'd probably already seen the announcement email scheduled for 8:30 a.m. Good morning, Madison, I said pleasantly. Is my sister in yet? Why, yes, Miss Thompson. She's in her office. I mean, her current office. I nodded. Please have her meet me in the CEO's office in 10 minutes. And Madison, you can call me Emma. The CEO's office suite was exactly as I remembered from my consulting days, all mahogany and leather, designed to intimidate rather than inspire. That would be changing soon. Right on cue, my phone buzzed. A text from Jessica. We need to talk. Now. I settled behind the massive desk, opened my laptop, and waited. 3, 2, 1. The door burst open. Jessica stormed in, her perfect composure cracking around the edges. Her channel suit was slightly wrinkled, probably from a sleepless night. What the hell is this? She slapped a printout of the announcement email on my desk. Some kind of joke. Good morning to you too, Jessica. Please, sit down. I will not sit down. Do you have any idea what you've done? I've spent years building my position here, cultivating relationships, proving myself, taking credit for other people's work. I interrupted calmly. Hiding problems in the Thompson merger? Manipulating reports to make yourself look better. She paled slightly but rallied. You can't prove any of that. Actually, I said, turning my laptop around, I can. Would you like to see the evidence? The board has already reviewed it all, of course. It's part of why they chose me for CEO. The board? She laughed, but it sounded hollow. I know everyone on the board. They wouldn't. You know the old board. I corrected her. The one that stepped down last month after the pension fund scandal. The new board? They're a bit more thorough. Jessica sank into a chair, her legs seemingly giving out. How long have I been preparing for this? 5 years. Ever since you took credit for my tech restructuring plan and got your first promotion. I leaned forward. Did you really think I was just some failed consultant all this time? That I didn't notice you using my strategies, my ideas, even my exact phrases in your presentations? I earned my position, she whispered, but the conviction was gone from her voice. No, you didn't. But here's your chance to earn something real. I pulled out a folder and slid it across the desk. Your new position. Junior Operations Manager, reporting to the actual team that's been doing your work all these years. Junior? She looked like she might faint. You can't demote me. I'll resign first. Of course you can resign, I agreed. But then I'd have to include the full details of your creative accounting in the SEC filing. And I don't think your next employer would appreciate that. The intercom buzzed. Ms. Thompson? The board is ready for the morning meeting. Thank you, Madison. I stood, straightening my jacket. Come in, Jessica. I believe you have a presentation on the Thompson merger. The real numbers this time, please. The boardroom fell silent as we entered. The new board members, hand-picked for their expertise and integrity, watched with varying degrees of interest as Jessica stumbled through her presentation. Every misleading statement, every inflated number, every hidden problem was methodically exposed. And that, I concluded after she finished, is why we'll be restructuring the merger timeline. Teams have already been assembled to address the tech debt issues that were overlooked. Excellent work, Ms. Thompson. The board chair nodded. Both in uncovering these issues and in your previous consulting work that actually kept this company afloat. Jessica's head snapped up. Previous work. Oh yes, the chair smiled. Your sister's been the architect of every major successful initiative here for the past 5 years. Though I believe you took credit for most of them. The meeting ended with Jessica looking thoroughly defeated, As everyone filed out, I caught her arm. "Weekly status meeting, my office, tomorrow at 9 a.m., I said quietly. "Don't be late. And Jessica? Wear something more appropriate for your new position. Channel suits aren't really junior management style." Back in my office, I began the real work. The Thompson merger needed saving, the tech division needed strengthening, and the corporate culture needed a complete overhaul. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. "Please call us. We need to understand what's happening." I smiled, remembering all those family dinners, all those subtle jabs, and not so subtle comparisons. "Nothing to understand," I typed back. "Just your nobody daughter doing what she does best, succeeding." The afternoon brought a parade of executives, all suddenly eager to meet the new CEO they'd overlooked for years. Each one had a story about how they'd always respected my work and never really agreed with Jessica's methods. Amazing how quickly people's memories change when power shifts. By evening, Jessica's nameplate had been removed from her executive office door. Her assistant Madison was being reassigned, promoted, actually, to work directly with me. And the Thompson merger team was already implementing the solutions I'd prepared months ago. As I packed up for the day, a final email arrived from Jessica. "You won't get away with this. Family doesn't do this to family." I thought about all the times she'd undermined me, belittled me, stolen my work. About all the family dinners where she'd made sure everyone knew exactly how much of a nobody I was. "You're right," I typed back. "Family doesn't do this to family. Remember that next time you're tempted to take credit for someone else's work. See you at tomorrow's status meeting. Don't be late." The Honda started smoothly as I pulled out of the CEO parking spot. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new opportunities to prove exactly why I deserved this position. And Jessica? She was about to learn what it really meant to earn your success. 6 months passed in a whirlwind of changes at Atlas Corp. The Thompson merger, properly restructured, had become a case study in successful corporate integration. Our stock price had risen 40%, employee satisfaction scores were at an all-time high, and the tech division was revolutionizing the industry. And Jessica? She'd survived. Barely, in her new role as junior operations manager. Every morning, I watched her Honda Civic. The Mercedes had been a company car, naturally, pull into the regular employee parking lot. Every week, she sat through status meetings, presenting actual data instead of manipulated reports. It was a Tuesday morning when everything changed again. I was reviewing quarterly reports in my office, now redesigned to be more collaborative than intimidating, when Madison buzzed in. "Your parents are here," she said, her voice careful. "They don't have an appointment, but—" I sighed. After 6 months of ignored calls and declined dinner invitations, they'd finally decided to take direct action. Send them in. They looked older somehow, less imposing than I remembered. Mom's designer outfit seemed forced. Dad's usually commanding presence diminished. They stood awkwardly just inside the door, taking in the changes to the office they'd once visited to praise Jessica's accomplishments. "Nice view," Dad attempted, gesturing at the floor-to-ceiling windows. "Better than the failure corner at dinner," I replied mildly. "Please sit." They settled onto the modern conference chairs. Gone was the intimidating leather furniture of the old regime. Mom clutched her handbag like a shield. "Emma," she began, "we've been trying to reach you." I'd been busy. Running a company takes time. But you knew that, right? All those times you praised Jessica's 60-hour weeks while dismissing my consulting thing. Dad shifted uncomfortably. "About that? We may have been hasty in our judgments. Hasty. I pulled up a file on my laptop. Let's review, shall we? 5 years of family dinners where I was seated in the failure corner. Countless comments about getting a real job. The time you skipped my consulting firm's launch party to attend Jessica's promotion celebration. Hasty doesn't quite cover it. We didn't know, Mom protested. Jessica always said. That's the problem. I cut in. You never asked me. Never looked beyond the surface. Never questioned why Atlas Corp's success always seemed to align with my consulting contracts. And now, Dad asked quietly. I turned my laptop around, showing them the company's latest financial reports. Now Atlas Corp is stronger than ever. The Thompson merger that Jessica nearly derailed. It's revolutionizing the industry. The tech division she claimed was worthless. It's our biggest growth sector. And your sister? Mom's voice was barely a whisper. See for yourself. I pressed the intercom. Madison, please ask Jessica to join us. A few minutes later, Jessica slipped into the office. Gone were the designer suits and perfect makeup. She wore business casual attire, her hair simply styled, her expression guarded. Sit down, Jessica, I said, gesturing to the remaining chair. Your quarterly review is due. She pulled out a folder. Actual paper, not the glossy presentations of her VP days, and began reviewing her team's progress. Real numbers, real achievements, modest but genuine success. Thank you, I said when she finished. Much better than last quarter. You're learning. Our parents watched this exchange in stunned silence. The power dynamic they'd known for 36 years had completely reversed. One more thing, I added, pulling out another folder. The board has reviewed your performance. They're offering you a promotion. Senior Operations Manager, leading the new regional office. Jessica's head snapped up. Really? You've earned it. I emphasized the word. With actual work this time. The position starts next month. In our Minneapolis office. Minneapolis? Mom gasped. But that's a fantastic opportunity, I finished. Unless you prefer to stay in your current position, Jessica? She shook her head quickly. No, thank you, I accept. After she left, our parents sat in continued silence until Dad finally spoke. We were wrong, he said simply. Yes, you were. Can we fix this? Mom asked. I leaned back in my chair, touching the pearl earrings. Grandma's last gift. That depends. Are you ready to actually see me? Not as Jessica's shadow, not as the family disappointment, but as who I really am. They nodded, looking almost childlike in their uncertainty. Then yes, we can try, starting with dinner. At my house this time. No failure corner, no comparisons, no judgments. Just family, learning to see each other clearly. That evening, after they left, I stood at my office window watching the city lights flicker to life. My phone buzzed with a text from Jessica. Thank you. For the promotion, for the chance, for everything. You earned it, I replied. That's the difference. Another text, this time from Mom. Your home is beautiful, just like you. We're so sorry we didn't see it sooner. I smiled, touching the pearls again. Success, I'd learned, wasn't about corner offices or designer suits. It was about staying true to yourself, doing the work, and sometimes letting others learn their own hard lessons. Madison buzzed in one last time. Tomorrow's schedule is ready. Board meeting at 9, strategy review at 11, and the Thompson team presentation at 2. Thank you, Madison. Oh, and one more thing. Yes. Move the family photo from the failure corner to my desk. It's time to make some new memories. The city lights twinkled below, reflecting off the glass and steel of the building that had become my domain. Not through manipulation or false claims, but through hard work, patience, and the quiet confidence that truth eventually prevails. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just proving them wrong, it's teaching them to be better.